Good evening. Convening open session at 8 a.m. Nothing to report out the closed session. And we'll have the pledge of allegiance. Dr. Mary Danny, volunteer. Please stand. And our hearts ready to begin. Yes, you really are. Where she stands. Yes. Next, we'll have ACES.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and I'm here to present the ACES Award, which stands for the Achieving a Culture of Exceptional Service. Our first person to recognize is Joanna Nahar. Are you here tonight? If you join us. All right. Teacher Sahara Bowers from Jack Northrop wrote this about Joanna. Sorry. Joanna has been the MTSS pair in my classroom, and during a challenging time when I was out for 4 weeks, she played an integral role in maintaining order and focus among the students. I was confident in her abilities to assist the substitute teachers with rules, routines, and materials, and she did not disappoint. Her dedication and commitment to creating a conducive learning environment truly sets her apart. One of the substitute teachers even remarked, Miss Joanna was amazing and made things so smooth for me to be able to adjust quickly. This feedback underscores how essential Joanna was during my absence. Joanna is deserving of this recognition for her hard work and dedication. So thank you. Thank you. That's not for you. All right. It is my additional pleasure to recognize Chris Nations, the teacher from Bolton and Osbury, and Marcelo Palacios, principal. Unfortunately, he can't be here tonight. All right. So, Robert T. Douglas Jr., father and a AAAC parent, wrote, I would like to honor Ms. Nations and Mr. Palacios on behalf of the African American Advisory Council at Bolton and Osbury in recognition of their contribution to the advancement of our committee. They have been at all the meetings, hosted scheduled activities the whole year, and created and implemented a platform for more parent engagement like the AAAC. So thank you so much for your contributions. All right, and lastly, this one's huge. All right, I would like to recognize Lynette Sertan, the school nurse. And so 6 people have written in. So I'm going to read a lot of what they wrote. All right, so Lysandra Perez, mother of Eliza Aldaba, wrote, my daughter lives with type 1 diabetes and asthma. This will be my daughter's second year being cared for by Nurse Lynette while she attends Discovery Elementary School. As this year comes to an end, I want to take a moment to express my deepest appreciation for the most exceptional care and kindness Nurse Lynette has shown to my daughter. As Eliza's conditions come with stressful moments, Nurse Lynette always handles each situation with professionalism and compassion. Her attentiveness and kindness has made a meaningful impact on Eliza's daily life, allowing her to continue to strive in her education and have a safe place while being away from home. Knowing that my child has been in such capable and caring hands has brought me peace of mind as a parent. We feel so fortunate and grateful that Eliza has Nurse Lynette in her school experience. We would love to see her get the recognition she truly deserves for the ACES Award. might want to get a chair. All right. Another parent, Anna Rodriguez, wrote in. I have known Miss Lynette for 4 years, and there's never been a moment when I haven't felt the support from my daughter and our family. Having a child with a medical condition is always difficult, but Miss Lynette has consistently shown care and concern for my daughter. About 3 weeks ago, she intervened to ensure that a specialist could see my daughter for a medical issue that was causing her to miss a lot of schools. Ms. Lynette used all her best resources and managed to get the specialist to attend to her within 2 weeks when the original appointment was in August. She not only embodies everything the ACES Award represents, but she is also truly deserving of recognition for the incredible work she does at the school and her dedication to the students. So, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now the next four, and I shortened it out a little bit, are from employees at Discovery Elementary School. Lucia Oviado Nino, Jessica Ortiz, Nereda Rosales, and Danielle Rodney. And this is what they said. She is like a mother to the children when they go to the health office. That's what you want, right? She is a great mentor and doesn't delegate. She makes your work more efficient. Working and learning from her is an immense pleasure. Miss Lynette is the true meaning of a team player, always willing to lend a helping hand, share knowledge, and support others. She is dedicated, hardworking, and made exceptional achievements as our school nurse. She extends her hand to the poor and needy, demonstrating her compassion and care of others. So, Lynette, thank you so much for what you're doing. 6 is the record, and so see if someone else can beat it.
Great job. I can attest I've run into that wonderful nurse several times in Walmart. She's always mindful of kids. Really does a good job. Can we have the enrollment?
Yes, ma'am. As of yesterday, our total UTK through 8th grade enrollment was 13,920 students. Early learning was 485 students for a total of 14,405. This is a loss of 30 from the last board report and a loss of 221 from the same period last year. Of that population, 1,157 identify as homeless, 341 as foster, and 708 students have one or both parents as part of the armed forces.
Thank you, Dr. Simmons. Presentations, requests, early learning, self-evaluation. Dr. Kelly Fountain, Director of Program.
Good evening. I'm happy to be here on the last Tuesday of the school year to present the program self-evaluation for the state preschool program for Lancaster School District. I will start with just talking a little bit, reminding everyone that the process of what we do here in the early learning program is to be a bridge. The UPK program bridges the early learning and care system with the TK-12 system at the school district. As children enter into the school district, our district, we decided as a district to blend and braid funding, which allows us to leverage some of the funding that we are receiving from different sources to lower the ratio inside of the classroom. slide to change. So just as a reminder, in the UTK classrooms in Lancaster School District, we are using three different funding sources to lower that ratio. 2 of the staff members are paid from ADA and TK apportionment funding that comes from the LEA. 1 of the paraeducators is paid out of the state school funding, and the 4th paraeducator that comes in to provide continuity of care as children transition into the ELO program are funded jointly with the CSPP dollars and the ELO dollars. This allows us to provide a high quality program in a 1-to-8 ratio for the entire length of the day. Part of our program requirements is that we conduct a self-audit each year, which consists of 5 different parts. So we'll go over just a couple of the parts because these are the things that we picked out that are sort of the most exciting for us. So let's start with the family files. In our program each year, we are processing eligibility requirement and need for up to 1,250 children. 977 of them are now enrolled in our state preschool program in a contract that has only 862 spots. So we are growing quite large as a process of enrolling in both programs and providing a high quality program. The word is definitely getting out. We maintain accurate files on each family and each child. We capture documents for each child and we put them into the SIS system. And that helps us to make sure that we have the right eligibility and need, salary calculations, everything that every child needs to make sure they qualify for our program. And then we also monitor through that same system the attendance and report attendance then back to the state, which then allows them to reimburse us for earning for each of those children. And all of that work that we do in the family file does help support us to provide that blended UTK program as well. So on the next slide, I'll talk about the enrollment as it has sort of traditionally, historically, there's a real long delay in the slide changes, sorry about that. So if we look at these 3 different lines, the bottom line is our full day program. In 22-23, we were given a full day preschool program. So we started full day, we have 120 spots, and we've seen growth in the program. We got that program just after COVID. So we have we're providing 4 classes of children in that program full day that are 3 to 5. And this year we opened our 2-year-old program. The top line is the part day preschool program. So after the pandemic, we did see a dip in the part day preschool program enrollment, but it is gaining trajectory after the pandemic as more people are bringing their children back to school. The blue line in the middle is the TK enrollment. So we've had TK in the district for a very long time, but only in 22-23 did we start blending the children. And it wasn't until this current school year that all children were required to also be state preschool eligible. So you see the TK numbers are off the chart, which Mr. Giles mentioned earlier that he has noticed TK numbers are growing. So this allows us to then provide a high quality program for 977 kids across the district. One of the areas of the program self-audit is the strengthening families. In our program, we have provided this year with a concerted effort on family events. We have weekly Wednesday training for families that consist of nutrition, parenting, behavior strategies, literacy, math. Those things happen every Wednesday, virtually online at 9 o'clock. Any family can tune into that same link every Wednesday. We also have provided movie nights for families. And one of the big events we provided this year was the kindergarten enrollment event. And that event brought out over 1,350 families. And we incorporated families that are in preschools in the neighboring district, or in the neighboring, not district, the neighborhood. So we had families that came from CCRC, from private preschool, all interested in enrolling in our UTK program and our kindergarten program next year. One of the other things we did to strengthen families was remove barriers by providing vaccines to families through our federal vaccine clinic. We have also contracted with a doctor in the community now to provide glasses for our children that don't qualify for glasses under other programs. One of the things we're super proud about is we opened the hotspot this year, which is our 2-year-old class. Dr. Marietti was there on the very first day and met our 2 very first 2-year-olds enrolled. Those kiddos are super excited about being there, and they will be with us now for their 2-year-old year, their 3-year-old year, and then when they enroll in TK. By the time they get to kindergarten, they'll have been with us for 3 whole years. One of the other areas that we look at in the program self-evaluation is the program quality, and that the two pieces I want to talk to you about tonight are the classroom assessment scoring system. This is an assessment that's required by state preschool. We taught staff all year long about the components of the class assessment, and they were assessed in the spring. That assessment is observational. We have an outside consultant come in and do the observation, and it's in 3 different domain areas. One is emotional support, one is in classroom organization and instructional support. At the bottom, which you can't see if you're in the audience, but you can see up there the scores that came in. So the average for the program for emotional support was a 6.66 out of 7. The average for the classroom organization is a 5.81 out of 7. And then instructional support, the national average is 3.75. It is the hardest area for staff. That's the area where you purposefully create planning, integration activities, analysis and reasoning, ask open-ended questions, connect to children's lives. We have a 2.53 in that area out of 7. So we're not at the national average, but our goal next year is to far exceed the national average and be intentional about the activities that we're providing for children and the ways that we're asking children to plan out for themselves and integrate their thinking and their real life connections in the classroom. The next area is the DRDP results, which I do present the DRDP results every year, but this year I want to show you a little bit more what it looks like with the TK lens. So the first slide is shows that what we are looking for is to get kids in the spring rating period to be in the building middle or later band. So what I've circled there in the orange is for all children across the program from 3 to 5 years old, children are in or very near that beginning building middle or later band. These kiddos are working on things like approaches to self-regulation, social emotional development, language and literacy, math, physical development, health, and English language development. When we look at just the TK kiddos, when we separated them out and disaggregated them, they're much further along that band. So they're moving almost to the end of the DRDP, which is showing their readiness for kindergarten. And then one of the things I really want to spend time highlighting is in the DRDP and the Learning Genie program that we use, they have a report called the Cohort School Readiness Report, which shows whether or not TK kids are ready for kindergarten entry. This is looking at those same dimensions that the DRDP measures, but it shows in the yellow, it'll show if a child is below or if a child is in the blue that is at or above, which means they are ready for kindergarten. So in approaches to learning self-regulation, this is where kids are looking at their ability to have self-control, engage and persist in activities, and use shared materials. 82% of our TK kiddos are ready for kindergarten and are at or above in that ability. In the area of social emotional regulation, we are working on relationships with adults, familiar adults, and children, and social emotional understanding. So supporting children to identify if they're having a feeling, what is the feeling, and naming the feeling, and then using messages for their classmates about, you took my toy and I don't like that. In this area, 90% of the TK kiddos are ready according to DRDP for kindergarten entry. On the next slide, you'll see language and literacy development. This is receptive language, reciprocal communication, interest in literacy, concepts about print, phonemic awareness, and letter and word knowledge. And you'll see that overall 87% of the TK kiddos are ready for kindergarten entry. Which that's awesome because we've been doing systematic instruction integrity for the last 2 years. In phonemic awareness, we are really seeing gains in the children's readiness for kindergarten. And then the last slide shows cognition, physical development, health, and English language development. And children are above the 80% mark for all of those areas. One I'd like to highlight is research tells us that children at this age need 5 to 8 hours of unstructured active play. Because we have them in the TK program, they are getting an hour and a half of outdoor play each day. And that is providing them with opportunities to develop their gross motor skills in ways they wouldn't have been doing in the old kindergarten TK program. So being able to be outdoor with kids each day, to have that unstructured play in developmentally appropriate environment is providing them massive gains in that physical development domain. 94% of them are ready. So in total, our program self-evaluation shows that we're doing a pretty great job at explicitly teaching social emotional skills to children in a play-based environment that's appropriate for their age and cognition. And it also is supporting our ability to teach the early learning literacy skills, the cognition and math skills that are what is the state is measuring, whether or not our kiddos are ready for kindergarten or not. We work really hard each day to work with every kid and train our staff to be ready to be intentional with kids each day. And we're pretty proud of our program. So that is what I would just like to share with you about our self-evaluation. Any questions?
Yes, I have one. Understanding a couple slides prior to this one, we were talking about the additional support.
Okay.
It being at 2.3 out of 7% of what we're currently at. You know, roughly a point or so below the national average. Said about trying to get that improved. To just sort of overcome the year. Can you give me a little bit more understanding about why we are so low in it?
That's a hard domain for any teacher because in the TK classroom, lots of stuff's going on. There's dysregulation, like 8 conflicts a minute on average in a TK class. So while staff is intentionally planning activities, oftentimes they get distracted with handling other stuff, or the phone rings, or they get distracted from whatever happening in the class. So we work this year really intentionally on building strategies that they could use and embed into their instructional day that will support them to use those intentional planning cognitive development strategies. For instance, I gave them an example when you're reading a book to kiddos, put a Post-it in the book that lets you know that right now on this page, you're going to stop and ask an open-ended question. It's about intentionally putting strategies in place to remind them, oh yes, I was going to do this. Because if you've ever worked with 3 to 5 year olds, they'll distract you with stories that have nothing to do with anything. And the teacher's job is to use the information they're giving on a daily basis and bring it back to the early learning standards. So we're working with them to intentionally plan for that. So on a page of a story, they might put a different Post-it note that's a different color that says, here, I'm going to use whatever information they give me after I ask that open-ended question to connect to their lives. So if you're talking to them about a book about the farm, they might say, pigs like mud. So then the teacher would then intentionally say, how do you know that pigs like mud? Have you seen pigs with mud? Where have you seen pigs? What experience do you have with pigs? Which actually gives the teacher opportunities to learn a little bit more about where their child is coming from. There's other opportunities when they release children from circle to go into their centers to ask children, what center are you going to go to and what will you do there? That gives opportunities for children to think about what they're going to do and plan out what they'll do in that space. And it also gives the teacher the opportunity to say, I'm going to check back in with Pam in the dramatic play area because she said she's going to do whatever she's doing in that dramatic play area. I think it's just a matter of slowing down a little bit because emotional support, they got it. Classroom organization, they got it. The intentional pieces around the instructional support domain, we always need a little bit more work there. So that's our goal for next year. Each teacher looked at their scores and they wrote a personal goal and then a team goal for their room about how they're going to help move forward on that instructional support.
That was pretty much questions for that. And my next question was going to be, how do you plan on changing that? What plan do you have in place to increase the appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Anything else?
Other questions? Thank you very much. Next, we'll have the DLAC update by Ms. Cindy Kloon. The consensus on the board, really wanted tacos. So I don't know.
I'll be right back.
Just tacos, then what's this?
Yeah, we just needed that. We followed the smell.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, we'll give you another chance though.
Tomorrow, if you come to the reclassification ceremony, we will give you Kona ice. Not the same, I know,
That's okay though. It's free. You're coming.
but please come.
Thank you.
Good evening, President Charleston, board members, Superintendent Marietti, cabinet members, and community members. My name is Cindy Queen. I am the director of the Department of Overseas Assessment, Integrated Technology, and Multilingual Learner Programs. This evening, I am honored to co-present a brief update of the work that the District English Learner Advisory Committee, DLAC, has done for the 24-25 school year. With me tonight, I have Carla Tovar, Coordinator of Multilingual Learner Programs, David Alvaran, DLAC President, Rosa Corona, DLAC Vice President, and Marian Gomez, DLAC Secretary. So let's talk a little bit about what DLAC is. All California school districts who have 51 or more English learners are required to have a DLAC committee. We at the Lancaster School District currently have 1,583 students, and of course we are not the exception, so we need to have a DLAC. DLAC advises school board on English learner programs, reclassification, needs assessments, parent notifications, and LCAP. We would like to share reclassification highlight following guidance from the California Department of Education, input from Los Angeles County Office of Education, LACO, and SCOE, Sacramento Office of Education, and collaboration with our DLAC committee. Our district has aligned the reclassification criteria with those of the districts in the Los Angeles County. Students are required to meet multiple rigorous, this is very important to highlight, very rigorous academic and language measures as outlined in the reclassification criteria shown in this particular slide.
A needs assessment survey is conducted annually to gather input from families of students with an English learner status. DLAC advises the district on programs and services for multilingual learners, including overseeing the survey. The results help us better understand family experiences to inform and improve our multilingual learner programs and strengthen school-home partnerships. This slide highlights district-wide trends from the responses that we received. Overall, families reported strong engagement. Most are familiar with their language programs and feel informed about their child's academic progress. Attendance at parent guardian teacher conferences is high, and the majority feel welcomed by their schools. This slide summarizes open-ended feedback from families. Overall, they express appreciation for strong communication and a welcoming environment. They also identified areas where additional support and clarity would be helpful. This input highlights both strengths and opportunities as we continue to improve family engagement across the district.
We are excited to share some of the highlights from this year's DLAC work. We saw over a 350% increase in a participation from families, academics, workshops, and the new engagement opportunities were offered through the year. We held elections for DLAC officers. The committee review and commitment on their reclassification criteria. Members also evaluated commit effectiveness and provides key input on the LCAP.
As our continued efforts to support multilingual families, we've worked closely with the Student Family Services Department this year to expand access to meaningful learning opportunities. This includes hosting academic workshops focused on literacy development at home through engaging content. In addition to these academic offerings, we've strengthened these collaborations with Student Family Services team to increase participation in DLAC and ELAC meetings. We're proud of this growing partnership and positive impact it's having on family engagement across the district.
This year, Lancaster School District staff and parents, guardians had the opportunity to collaborate at the CAP conference, California's largest bilingual and multilingual education, gathering parents and guardians, attend workshops focused on academic achievements, language development, and leadership. Everyone returned inspired and eager to continue supporting students through a strong home school partnership. The following portion will be presented in Spanish and translated into English. Basado en la retroalimentación de las familias, DILAC hace las siguientes recomendaciones. Ofrecer más talleres de tecnología para familias enfocadas en Parent Square y Power School. Expandir las academias de idioma, incluyendo sesiones después de clases y los sábados. Incluir temas o agendas específicas en los volantes para mejorar la asistencia de los padres.
Based on family feedback, DLAC makes the following recommendations. Offer more technology workshops for families focused on Parent Square and Power School. Expand language academies, including after-school and Saturday sessions. And include specific topics or agendas on flyers to improve parent attendance.
Para concluir, agradecemos a todos los miembros de DILAC, líderes de ILAC. Su compromiso asegura que los estudiantes multilingües y sus familias sigan siendo el centro de planificación del distrito. Gracias por su tiempo. Con gusto responderemos a cualquier pregunta.
In closing, we thank all DLAC members and ELAC leaders. Their commitment ensures that multilingual learners and their families remain central in district planning. Thank you for your time, and we are happy to answer any questions. Okay.
Antes de cerrar, en nombre de las familias de DILAC, queremos agradecer al superintendente, doctor Marrieri, por su continuo apoyo. Por favor, acepte este pequeño obsequio como muestra de nuestro agradecimiento.
For friends on behalf of the DLAC families, we want to thank Superintendent Dr. Marietti for your continued support. Please accept this small gift as a token of our appreciation. And I just would like to add the fact that we have our families, our DLAC board members be part of this presentation, which to my knowledge is first time here with us. And we just finished celebrating with tacos. Their commitment and our appreciation for their involvement all year long.
Cindy, how many are we classifying tomorrow?
Okay, that's a trick question because this year we have reclassified 301. However, because we had to cut off at some point at last year's ceremony, we have over 400 students that are going to be participating tomorrow. So our current number is over 90% of what the population is, and it certainly meets the LCAP goal of 10%.
We'll move on to individual action items. Business approval of change order number 1, Aero Engineering for the Sunnydale Elementary School new construction and modernization project. Motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Giles. Second by Ms. Usler. All in favor? Aye. Vote passes 3-1. Approval of amendment number 1 to agreement of architectural services with SBA Architects Incorporated for Sunnydale Elementary School modernization and new construction project.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Schuster,
Second.
second by Mr. Dow. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-1. Approval of 2025-2026 fiscal stabilization plan.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Giles, second by Mr. Nguyen. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Adoption of resolution 2024-2025-41, designating certain general funds as committed funds balance. Motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Fisher, second by Mr. Giles. All in favor?
Or, so, one of the strategies that we used, particularly during the time period where we had a great amount of one-time funds, is through the use of assignments. And so through board action, there can be assigned certain funds to certain projects. And so that those monies are set aside as a restricted pot of money for specific things. So for instance, one of the things you see here is 1 month's worth of salary. Should there be a cash deferral at the state level, we would have 1 month of salary on hand to be able to survive that cash deferral. With board action, you can also unassign these dollars. And so if there's a point in time where we decide that we're not going to be using those dollars for a purpose, the board can reassign those back to the general fund so it's available for just the general use. And so what you see is the list of those assignments that we have intentions to use those dollars in different areas. If you see dollars carry from 1 year to the next year to the next year, same thing. It's not 3 times the money amount each year. It's just assuming if you don't spend it 1 year, it'll carry to the next year, it'll carry to the year after.
know we might be facing some deferrals this year, so signing those dollars so that we can meet our payroll is very smart.
So this is just committed fund would be, say, salaries or their.
Yes, if you look a little bit down at the bottom and see the description of the different items, we've earmarked those dollars then to be used on those different things. And so that money's just essentially set aside by board direction, which means it's no longer tagged as part of the general fund. It's set aside for the projects that you want to see happen within the district.
Hello, Maria.
We've been using assignments for the last 4 or 5 years successfully.
So what it is a commitment, and a commitment is an expenditure that we have identified that it will happen. And because we, as Dr. Marietti expressed, because we might have deferrals, we will have a deferral in June, we are preparing for that. And these commitments that you're approving right now, it's going to be showing into our budget for the 25-26. It's a budget strategic to keep us solvent, to keep us fiscally solvent. And it can only be unassigned, uncommitted with board action.
Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for that. Adoption of Resolution 2024-2025-42, Education Protection Account. Okay. Requirements for 2025-2026 school year.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Giles. Second by Ms. Huser. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Adoption of Resolution 2024-2025-43. Resolution approving the purchasing program participation agreement joint Sourcewell National Purchasing Cooperative Joint Powers Authority. That's a mouthful. All right. Motion? Motion by Mr. Huser, second by Mr. Nguyen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, good question. Can I ask? Is Sourcewell the same one we're using at the ABSTA?
No, AVSTA is its own, well, yes, good catch there. Yeah, I caught that the other day at the board meeting. They are also using Sourcewell. Sourcewell is a nationwide JPA that essentially gives us access to piggyback to buy things, big ticket items without having to go out to bid. And what's wonderful about this is the third one we've joined in the last year. There's absolutely no cost. And yet we get access to many of the products that we need much more rapidly because we don't have to go through the big project, the big process.
That's what I was hoping, that it was part of the same group.
In group, yep, same one.
All in favor?
Okay.
Motion passes 4-0. Adoption of Resolution number 2024-2025-44 and ratify the district's entry into leaseback LLB agreement for Sunnydale Elementary PSTK project.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Giles. Second by Ms. Huser. All in favor? Yeah, resolution?
Larry, you,
Yeah, this is part of the world of leaseback that we're still learning so much about because this is the first time the district has ever taken a leaseback project. As it turns out, there's a resolution that has to be adopted by the board to be able to do leaseback. When we initially started with CFW, who's all the projects they're listing are going to be leaseback projects, we were not aware of this requirement. They did not share that with us. And Sarah Bevington, who is now kind of the lead person on all of these, she discovered that this is a requirement that the board has to pass a resolution, actually access the leaseback. So this is one of a number of resolutions you're going to see in the future because each of those projects we're going to do is a leaseback project, and there'll be a resolution associated with it, with everything else that's encompassed in that project. So all the different contracts, the guaranteed maximum price, all of the different elements that are associated with it. The resolution is the first one. So we checked with the county. We were able to do this in arrears to get us in line with where we need to be. And you'll see a couple more come in the future months that are for the projects we're also working on right now.
this is just for anything else?
That's correct. That's just one of what will eventually be 19 projects that we'll be doing.
No cost.
The resolution costs nothing. It's just a county requirement. The project itself is its own cost. But as you recall, the nice thing about leaseback is that guaranteed maximum price. Once that price is stated, as long as we as a district do not direct any changes, that's the maximum price. Hopefully no change orders.
Yeah.
No more change orders.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Individual action item, human resources. For facilities and construction planner.
Sarah Bevington.
Repeat that.
Sarah Bevington.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Giles, second by Mr. Houston.
All right, Mrs. Bevington has been with us has over 6 16 years of experience in facilities, construction, and operational support, serving the last 8 years as a facilities and construction secretary for the Lancaster School District. She recently earned her bachelor's degree in business management, graduating summa cum laude with a 4.0 GPA, an achievement she is especially proud of as it reflects her commitment to personal and professional growth, while balancing a full-time career and family life. She takes great pride in her work, supporting the district's mission by helping maintain and develop safe, functional, and welcoming learning environments for students and staff. Outside of work, she's a proud wife and mother of 2 amazing kids. She leads her daughter's Girl Scout troop and can often be found in the bleachers cheering on her son's Little League team. During her downtime, she enjoys spending time with her family and friends, making memories and enjoying simple moments together. And she's here in the audience tonight.
Floor is open for you, Sarah. Sarah, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Welcome.
Motion.
Second. Too far down the road.
Approval of provisional internship permit, 2025, 2000. Motion by Ms. Looster, second by Mr. Nguyen.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Can you explain it? Okay.
Approval of variable term waiver for 2025, 2026 school year. Motion by Mr. Nguyen, second by Ms. Looster. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Individual action item, student and family services, approval of the agreement for avid tutors with agents of change.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Giles, second by Ms. Schuster. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-1. Addressing the board. Individuals who wish to address the board may complete a speaker card and present it. And any supporting documents to the superintendent's assistant or other district official prior to the start of the meeting. Personal information such as a student, parent, guardian's name, address, phone number, date of birth, email address, or other directory information as defined in Education Code 49061 may be excluded from the minutes of the meeting by submitting a written request to the superintendent. The board president shall recognize individuals who wish to speak. Individuals wishing to present testimony to the board concerning specific items on the agenda may do so once that item has been moved, seconded, and is on the floor for discussion. Time limits of 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per item shall be allowed. Board bylaws 9322. Board members may ask questions for clarification purposes. However, no action may be taken and no discussion may take place on an item on the posted agenda, not on the posted agenda. Brown Act. Comments from PTA? CSEA? Cal? Comments from the audience?
There are no comments from the audience.
Consent agenda item, superintendent item 16A through 16G. Motion?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Looser, second by Mr. Nguyen. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Consent agenda items, business items 17A through 17O.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Giles. Second by Ms. Huesler. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Consent agenda items, educational services, items 18A through 18O. Motion? Motion by Ms. Huesler.
Second.
Second by Mr. Giles. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Consent agenda items, human resource services, items 19A through 19C.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Giles. Second by Mr. Nguyen. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Consent agenda items, student and family services, items 20A through 20O. Motion? Motion by Ms.
Second.
Huesler, second by Mr. Giles. All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Second readings on the legislative policy. Okay, comments from the board and the superintendent. Mr. Giles.
Thank you, everybody that hung out for us. Really cool to hear from our ACES winners, and congratulations to them. Fountain, great presentation. It's good to hear our little guys are doing good. I guess that you guys have the bar, to meet now with your carnival thing you did. That's like, that was like the toast of the town. So good luck trying to beat that next year. And thanks to Cindy Queen and our DLAC group. It's like they all went out for ice cream or whatever, but they're gone. But thank you for their hard work, and great to hear what the be transitioning full 101 of our students to English learners. So English, we call them English proficient, I guess. But anyway, great news. I'm just glad to be here and wish everybody the last great last day or two, and redesignated. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, something like that, but reclassified. That's why that's a reclassification. And congratulations to all our kids that are going to promote in the next day or two. And I get to go to some of those. And congratulations to all of our staff and support staff and everybody involved for the getting through the year. And hopefully everybody has a great summer after Thursday, right? Some have to still work, so just have a good summer.
Wayne? I'd have to echo what you said. Pieces of wood, Joanna, and Chris, and see that. Very nice words. One of them. Sounds like they all pretty well respected by their Vista, Holden, and Kelly. You did a great job explaining the UTK and early childhood education. Even second graders has got to be very, very difficult. I read to during the reading, read to kindergartners. I just can't imagine being a teacher all day or even half a day. Those kindergarten. And now you're saying 2-year-olds. So it's got to be so difficult. This is Green. done a good job. If we can get 400 students reclassified, and now they can go on to high school. I think that's part of what the reclass does. It gives them that sportsmanship. Go and take the just another thing, if any of you went to the book club ceremony the other day at the gym, Parkview Gym, it was fantastic. Schools were there.
No, far more than that. That would be out of just with a combination of East Side, West Side, and Lancaster. Absolutely.
It was phenomenal.
Probably about 20 schools.
And that was the Battle of the Books. And Dr. Andre did a great job with that.
That's part of something that was brought to us by the vice principal at our Monte Vista, Shamika. And I'll tell you what, those students do their stuff. My grandson's even part of the book club, and his team came in second place, but you know, I think El Dorado pulled it off. And us smiling. But this is something new that our school district is doing. I'll tell you what, the students learn, they read. I think there was at least 5 or 6 on each team, but it could be more. So, any families that their students love to read, next school year, get them involved in the book club. Go forward from there. Friday's going to be a little event over in Parkview Gym. I think it's only by invitation, but Rose is in charge of it, the Welcome and Wellness Center. And sounds like it's going to be very good. And Erie, thank you for that book club. Putting that on, that was fantastic.
Excuse me.
I'm going to reiterate a lot of what's already been said. I'll mention Nurse Lynette because I know her personally, and that's so nice to see her up there getting the ACES award. Ellie, love to hear about the early learners, and it does amaze me. 2, 3, and 4-year-olds. And I don't like anything much less than junior high. And so hard to imagine, all day with the little ones, but I know it is making a huge, huge difference as children enter, kindergarten. Get to know them for 3 years. And thank you for all you're doing there. Cindy, thank you for presenting the information on DLAC. It's wonderful to see that, they're organized, they're working, they're making great strides, and it sounds like you guys are doing wonderful work in getting kids reclassified. Congratulations to Sarah Bevington. I see she's left with her family, but it's good to see her moving up. And we're just about out for the year. So congratulations to everybody that made it through almost. More weeks for people that are working in district, but I know the kids will be on it.
Dr. Mariani. Okay. The ACES Award winners tonight. I also want to congratulate all of our staff, classified and certificated, for all their hard work. And wish them a wonderful summer vacation. We still have a couple of days to go, so just hang in there. And also congratulations to our 8th grade promoting class. And we look forward to our celebrations in the next 2 days. And finally, thank you to our DLAC parents. one of the things that we mentioned at our student family services celebration the other day was how important that connection between our families and communities are. If we're going to succeed as a school district, if we're going to succeed in educating our children, we have to have partnerships with our family and our community. So I want to thank them. And then finally, thank you to Dr. Fountain and our ECE team for the wonderful work they do preparing our students. That's it.
Dr. Marietta. I'll just basically all the activities. I had an opportunity to attend the family engagement celebration, which was absolutely amazing. Just the turnout and just to see all the parents there and the caregivers that just do everything they can to help support our district as well as help support our students. And just the collaboration between just the many organizations that we have here in the district that all came together to put that event. It was an absolutely amazing event. You guys did a wonderful job, and I really enjoyed being part of it. Like Mr. Wynn said, Battle of the Books, I thought I was honestly going to like a little book fair where I was going to purchase some books, not where I was going to be amazed by our students that, basically had to read a certain amount of books. And, it's interesting because they just asked them a question from the book, just random books, and they had to know the book, content of the book, the title, and the author, and so just on a whim, off of whatever question character had on purple shoes, which book was, so just to know that these kids had the ability to retain that type of information and just to see them just regurgitate all that information and be able to answer those questions in 15 seconds, by the way, was truly, truly something to see. So I can't wait till the one comes back next year. We do, as they mentioned, have our reclassification, which is the numbers are just astonishing, over 400. Job well done. So I look forward to being able to attend that tomorrow evening at our AV Fairground, 5 to 7. Yeah, that's really awesome. I'm looking forward to that. And great presentation on DLAC. Wonderful job. I look forward to seeing everything. I like the fact that you guys have came up with the board, so there's a lot of checks and balances there. And I like the way that program is going. Fountain, thank you for taking the time to explain everything to me. Regurgitate that information, and I like the plan that you're putting into place just to have those numbers change as far as our instructional support is concerned. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where we go with that. I love the whole starting school at 2. Awesome. Because that just means it's just going to be that much more successful. So thus far, this is your second presentation I've seen, and you're just doing a wonderful job. So please continue that up. Dwayne had Mr. Wayne had also touched on the other battle of the book. So Nancy Corey, she won, I think it was. So they walked away with a trophy. So we had a nice little showing in the book. Kicked some butt on those other districts. So I was really happy to hear about that. And congratulations to all of our people that we just approved with their provisional internship permits and their variable term waivers. It's that many more teachers. It's going to be really good for our district as well. And with that closing, I look forward to our keeping the summer, the Welcome and Wellness Center, and it is a private event. But Rose just does such a fabulous job over here, so I can't wait. I hope in that. Close this evening out till 5 p.m. Thank you guys for coming. Can I get a motion? Motion by Mr. Wynn. Second by Mr. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you and good night.